Welcome to Neo Universus. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Under the harsh lights of a Cincinnati cargo facility, U.S. Customs officers cracked open boxes labeled as tools and clothing. Inside, the truth scuttled. Thousands of live Chinese mitten crabs, claws bound, legs twitching. In just 4 months, agents at this single port seized over 3,700 crabs, evidence of a sophisticated smuggling ring. These crabs weren't for research, they were bound for New York's black market where demand is high and profits even higher. Nationwide, over 15,000 illegal crabs have been intercepted, each a potential ecological disaster. False labeling is a common tactic, but vigilant officers are catching on. The mitten crab's arrival signals more than a customs issue. It's a warning to the entire seafood trade. The U.S. is cracking down, and the ripple effects are being felt from Shanghai's ports to New York's dinner tables. For importers and consumers, the message is clear. The legality and origin of seafood now matter more than ever. Every intercepted box is a small victory in a much larger battle to protect America's waterways. The system is tightening, and the consequences for illegal trade are growing. The era of unchecked seafood imports is ending. The Chinese mitten crab is no harmless delicacy, it's one of the world's worst invasive species. These crabs breed rapidly, outcompete native species and disrupt entire ecosystems. Their burrowing destroys riverbanks and flood control systems, costing millions in repairs. Fishermen suffer too, as mitten crabs steal bait, damage gear, and prey on local catches. Despite strict bans, a black market thrives, fueled by high demand and even higher profits. Smugglers risk it all because a single crab can fetch up to $50. The fight isn't just about stopping new arrivals. Established populations in places like the Hudson River are nearly impossible to eradicate. Prevention at the border is critical. Every seizure is a defense against a wider invasion. Once mitten crabs take hold, the damage is lasting and costly. The stakes: America's aquatic resources for generations to come. Beyond invasive species, a new threat lurks in imported seafood. PFAS, or forever chemicals. The FDA recently blocked shipments of canned clams from China after finding dangerously high PFAS levels, far above safe limits. These chemicals, used in everything from non-stick pans to firefighting foam, don't break down and are now contaminating the global food supply. The crackdown began after studies revealed widespread contamination, prompting recalls and a sweeping import alert for Chinese clams. Now, the FDA is testing more seafood, cod, shrimp, salmon for PFAS, signaling stricter regulations ahead. For decades, seafood safety focused on bacteria and spoilage. Now, invisible chemical residues are the new frontier. Industrial pollution in harvest waters is a growing concern, and U.S. importers must ensure products are not just fresh, but free from hidden toxins. The bar for safety is rising, and only those with transparent, trustworthy supply chains will survive. The FDA's actions mark a turning point in food safety policy. Importers face new challenges. Rigorous testing and full traceability are now essential. The seafood industry is being forced to adapt, or risk being shut out of the U.S. market. Chemical contamination is no longer an invisible threat, it's a top priority. The future of seafood safety is here, and it's chemical as much as biological. Americans love seafood, consuming nearly 5 billion pounds a year. But domestic supply can't keep up. About 90% of U.S. seafood is imported, creating a massive complex global supply chain. This dependency leaves the market vulnerable to disruptions, whether from contamination, smuggling, or new regulations. The FDA inspects only a tiny fraction of imports, relying on digital risk systems to flag problem shipments. Traditional concerns like filth and salmonella are now joined by new threats like PFAS and invasive species. The system's limits have made the U.S. a target for illegal trade and hidden contaminants. Recent crackdowns are a direct response to these growing risks. The U.S. is waking up to the reality that its seafood appetite comes with serious vulnerabilities. Ensuring safety and legality is no longer optional, it's essential. The industry must adapt to survive in this new era of scrutiny. The crackdown on illegal crabs and contaminated clams has upended the U.S. seafood market, sending shockwaves through the entire supply chain. Suddenly, what was once routine business has become a high-stakes gamble for everyone involved. Importers now face the risk of sudden seizures, costly disruptions, and the looming threat of reputational damage. Every shipment is scrutinized, and even a minor infraction can mean major losses. Trust, not price, is the new currency. Buyers demand proof of legality and safety. Relationships are being tested as buyers insist on transparency at every step. FDA import alerts act as public blacklists, steering business away from non-compliant suppliers. Companies scramble to avoid being named, knowing it could mean the end of lucrative contracts. China's reputation as a seafood source has taken a major hit, driving American buyers to seek alternatives. Shelves that once overflowed with imported seafood now sit empty, and retailers are under pressure to restock with safe, reliable products. The demand for seafood remains strong, but scrutiny is higher than ever. Every batch is inspected, every label double-checked, and every supplier held to new standards. Consumers expect transparency and safety, forcing the industry to realign. Shoppers are more informed, reading labels and asking questions about where their seafood comes from. Countries with strong regulations and quality control like Canada and Japan are poised to fill the gap left by China. Their rigorous standards are now a selling point. The market is shifting. Reliability and compliance are now the keys to success. Suppliers who can prove their products are safe and legal are in high demand. In this new landscape, only the most trustworthy suppliers will thrive. The future of the seafood industry belongs to those who can guarantee safety, transparency, and quality at every stage. As regulations tighten and consumer expectations rise, the industry is transforming. For those who adapt, new opportunities await in a market hungry for change. As U.S. buyers search for safer sources, Canada stands out as the gold standard. Canadian seafood is backed by rigorous regulation, sustainability, and full traceability. Federal agencies enforce strict standards from harvest to export, ensuring quality and safety. Unlike scandal-plagued suppliers, Canada's industry is proactive, preventing problems before they reach the border. The Product of Canada label now signals peace of mind for American importers. Canadian exporters provide the documentation and transparency U.S. buyers demand. As other nations scramble to meet new standards, Canada is already there, ready to fill supply gaps. Canadian seafood exports to the U.S. are rising, replacing rejected shipments from riskier sources. This isn't just a temporary shift, it's a fundamental change in North American trade. In a market shaken by uncertainty, Canada is exporting trust. The turmoil in the U.S. seafood market reveals a simple truth: food safety is non-negotiable. The crackdown on illegal and unsafe imports is forcing the global industry to raise its standards. The era of ignoring food origins is over. Transparency and accountability are now essential. Blocking invasive crabs and rejecting PFAS-tainted seafood marks a pivotal shift in enforcement. Suppliers must now prove their products are safe and legal, or risk losing access to the U.S. market. Canada, with its strong regulatory framework, is emerging as the top partner for American importers. This realignment benefits both economies and gives U.S. consumers safer choices. The lesson is clear: our food supply is only as strong as its weakest link. Protecting it requires vigilance, integrity, and cooperation across borders. The U.S. is setting a new standard for seafood safety, one that others must follow. In this new era, trust and safety are the true currency of global trade. The tide has turned, and the future of seafood is being rewritten.